afternoon, everyone, here at Bounce Innovation Hub and out there in Zoom land. Today is Tuesday, November 30th, and I would like to welcome everyone to the Akron Rotary Club. And with that little word, this meeting has officially begun. And Mr. Connor, I believe you're out there in Zoom land, and I was wondering if you would be kind enough to lead us in our invocation.
Yes, gladly, Mr. President. Can everyone hear me okay? All right. Cheryl's gonna love this one. It's a doozy. No, I'm kidding. I'll stop teasing Cheryl about that for calling me on the link to my invocation. So, but if you guys could just bow your heads with me. Heavenly Father, we just thank you for the food that is before us, whether we're gathered at the Bounce Innovation Hub or just in our offices, in our homes, wherever we may be, and just for your many blessings. We thank you for the privilege of belonging to this organization of Rotary, and just for the fellowship and support from friends that we have here, again, whether it be in the same room or just virtually, but the connections that we have, and just what a blessing that is. We also thank you for the opportunity to share ideas, but mostly for the opportunity that we have to serve our community alongside one another today and every day. In your name we pray. Amen.
Amen. Thank you, Mr. Connor. And now if you would join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Thank you. And now the four-way test. Is it the truth? Is it fair to all concerned? Will it build goodwill and better friendships? And will it be beneficial to all concerned? All right, well, thank you. And here we are coming off of a wonderful, long holiday Thanksgiving weekend. And I hope all of you had a very enjoyable, festive time with family and friends. I know that my family sure did. And it was nice to have a few extra days. Today's greeter is Mr. Mario Mastriani. And Mario?
Thanks, Steve. We have no visitors and no ambassadors today, unfortunately. But happy Thanksgiving belated to everyone.
All right. Thank you. Thank you. So no ambassadors today, huh? No one here in the crowd that have been involved in any, no visiting Rotarians. Okay. Do we have any ambassadors at all? Okay. All right. Let's talk about happy dollars. Is anybody happy today? Coming off of a holiday weekend, do we have anybody happy? Mr. Lance.
I've got a $1 happy joke for you. So there's this guy, and it's late at night. He's sitting at home watching TV, and there's a knock at his door, and he opens it. And there's a police officer standing there at his front porch, and kind of weird, but the cop says, "Pardon me for intruding so late at night, sir, but are you married?" And the man says, "Yes, I'm married." And the cop said, "Well, is your wife home?" The guy says, "No, she's out tonight." Well, the policeman says, "Well, do you happen to have a picture of her I could look at?" So the guy thinks, well, it's kind of weird, but he goes and brings back a picture. Cop looks at it. He says, "You know, this is one of the hardest parts of my job, but it looks like your wife's been hit by a train." The guy says, "Holy smokes, I know it's a bad picture and all, but you don't have to be so blunt about it."
Oh my. Wow. Lance, I think we had missed you with those jokes, but that one takes the cake, my brother. Woo! Anybody else that's happy?
Steve, I have $5 happy dollars in the middle. $5 happy. Just had a great time with Thanksgiving and all the kids home, so $5 happy for that.
Awesome.
Melon?
I have $2 happy. I just wanted to remind everybody that today is Giving Tuesday, so it's a worldwide day of generosity. So hopefully you'll go online and support a charity. You could also support Rotary Camp, but whatever charity is close to your heart. So keep that in mind. And then following today's meeting, every week we're going to do a quick chili open huddle. So if you'd like to hang out with us for about 5-10 minutes, we'll just, for those of you who want some more information about the Chili Open, and we can give you an update. We do have some accounts that we need help with solicitation, so if you're able to help, thank you.
Thank you, Melon. Karen?
I have $2 happy. One for the bylaws committee. Thank you for your service. And we're meeting virtually today at 4 o'clock. And the other one is for ballots. By Friday, I need ballots in. I have them here today. And next week, we'll find out who our next board and all the folks will be. So I'm excited for that.
Thank you, Karen. Anybody else happy? Susan?
Yes, I'm happy that I can make this announcement for Global Ties Akron, which is associated with Global Ties USA. And there's an opportunity for young women ages 24 to 29 who would like to be part of the MERGE program, which is a mentoring program. And MERGE stands for the Middle East and North Africa program, MENA program. Yeah, sorry, MERGE, MENA, whatever. At any rate, we need, it's an opportunity for young women to mentor teenagers from the MENA region. And there's a stipend. It's all done virtually. And applications need to be in by the 10th of December. So I will send that to to Rotary, and it'll be in the newsletter. Okay, thank you.
Susan. Anybody else happy? Thane?
Hey, good afternoon, everyone. Have a happy dollar, not for myself, but on behalf of Pastor John Hauerwas. He was a member of our Akron Rotary Club. He was also the senior rector over at Westminster Presbyterian Church on the west side of town. I think a lot of you knew him. One of the best things about my job is I get to interface and work with a lot of our faith leaders here in town. So Pastor John has become one of my buddies the last couple of years. He has just accepted a position in Skidaway Island, South Carolina, just south of Hilton Head. So can't really blame him for accepting a position down there. But he will be leaving the area and heading down to South Carolina, which is where he's born and raised. So I had the chance to grab lunch with him before he left town, and he did want to just extend a thank you for welcoming him and making him feel so welcome in our Akron Rotary Club. So that's on behalf of Pastor John.
Thank you, Thane. Thane says he owes us. Anybody else happy? Oh, David Miller.
I have $5 happy. Piggyback off of my backlist or whatever who it was, talking about Thanksgiving. It was just really nice to have my family over, well, my in-laws, my family was in Arizona, but have my in-laws and then our neighbors over, like a bigger, fuller Thanksgiving than like last year. And it is that time of year. As long as I'm here, I'm going to talk about raffle tickets. So I can now say bring your money every meeting because I brought mine officially today, so I don't feel guilty. So make sure you're selling your raffle tickets. Again, everybody should have received theirs in the mail by now. We have extra raffle tickets. You can go to chiliopen.net. It is the easiest thing to do is sell. It's just send them to chiliopen.net to buy raffle tickets. You don't even have to carry around a big stack of them if you don't want to. So that's my PSA of that.
Thank you, David. Anybody else happy? Online?
Anybody online? Oh, we have Cheryl here.
Cheryl's happy.
I'm happy. I mentioned I have 2 great nephews due in December. But we just found out we have a 3rd great nephew due in 6 months. So we are very excited. 3 boys, which is unusual in the Warren family.
Thank you. Congratulations.
Is there anybody else out there online that is happy? Just kind of taking a look. I am happy. I do have $5 here, David, for you. I want to start by saying thank you. You got me going there when you started talking about John, and I'm thinking, so here we have a funeral home director talking about one of our members, and I'm thinking, did I miss something? And he's young, he's healthy, and so I'm glad to hear that you only had lunch. So that's very, very good news. But as far as happy dollars go, happy to hear your news today, Susan. And you know, we're pretty fortunate here in this club to have the breadth and the depth of the leadership that we have in our membership. And as long as I've been in the club, which is a little over 7 years, Susan has been a torchbearer and an advocate for young people with the student exchange program, and also for working with international students and internationals. And that's awesome because she has a heart for the world, and I know many of you do as well. So part of those $5 is for her. Secondly, I had the privilege of having breakfast yesterday with Dr. Doug Hoskinek and a few of the young leaders from Akron University. And if you will recall, a couple of weeks ago, we had a presentation on Be the Match, about blood donor matching. And working with Dr. Doug and beginning to plan with the university, we're looking to really go after that and to communicate with the population there at Akron University. And then as well to look to how we might be able to leverage that with the high schools, because we found out during that presentation that the opening as far as the need goes is having folks who are aged 18 to 40 in being able to be a match for someone who is struggling with cancer. And so we're looking to see some pretty good results come out of that. So that's for Dr. Doug. And then lastly, on short notice, I was able to reach out to a very good friend of mine from high school. You're going to be hearing from him shortly, Mr. Michael Irby. He is he's the president and director of 100 Black Men. And good to have you here today, Michael. And you'll be hearing more when I introduce him here shortly. But so just very, very glad to be here and glad to see everybody. As we move into this meeting this week on Thursday, I believe it is. Let's see. Tomorrow's the 1st. No, it'll be on Friday. Mr. John Daly, John's out there, he's on the screen, is having a birthday. And Cheryl, how old is John going to be? John, how old are you going to be? I think you might be muted. 94, is it? Well, anyhow. You coming on there, Jack?
There you go. I'll be 94.
94. That is pretty awesome. So we can't let you get off that easy. So we're going to sing to you. And I wanted to see who would like to lead us. Mr. Thane? No? You're tone deaf.
You got a great voice.
All right, I'll do my voice is a little bit deep, but are we ready? Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear John. Happy birthday to you. All right. Does anyone else have any announcements? I'm going to ask Brian Kima if he would be willing to come up and just share a little bit about the upcoming Christmas holiday extravaganza party. It's going to be here on December the 21st from 11:30 to 1. So if you want to share a few details, that would be great.
Yeah, so we really encourage you to come to our holiday party. One thing we really want to encourage you to do is to send in a story of just a memory of the holidays that you have. You can send that story to me or to Steve. Just make sure it gets in. We're going to read those stories at our party. So far, we have one submission. We were looking for about 9 or 10 total. So send in those submissions. It's going to be really special. Fun activities, nothing weird, lighthearted. We have good food, good drinks. This place is going to be beautiful. We got some music playing. It's going to be really nice.
Where do we send them to?
One second.
Where do we send them to?
You mean send the stories? Yeah, why don't you email them to me or email them to President Bowie? Thank you.
Thank you, Brian. And the cost, believe it or not, we've been able to keep this down and make it affordable, is $35 a ticket. And so the menu, Cheryl's going to be posting the menu in a communication coming out, and you're going to see it's pretty rich. And when you throw in wine, you throw in a little bit of liquor, it's going to be a fun time. And we decided to set aside 90 minutes so that we're not rushed. We'll have some music. It won't be live music, but we'll have music. And please, I know everybody has some type of a Christmas memory, a story. It can be personally about you. It can be about your parents. It can be about your grandparents. But something in your world, your past, that really was very moving and touching. Maybe somebody coming home from the military or someone coming in from another state. But don't be shy about sharing your story with the rest of the group. Are there any other announcements? Anybody online have anything that they would like to share? Okay. Well, it is my privilege today to introduce my friend, Michael Irby, who is the president of 100 Black Men here in Akron. And Michael and I actually were high school buddies. And Michael was an outstanding athlete at Akron Garfield on the football team and on the basketball team, but his real forte was football. He actually was one of those old-time players that played on both sides of the ball. So he was a running back and he was a defensive back. And his skills were such that that allowed him to get a very nice scholarship to Ashland College. And he played for the Eagles down there and continued running that ball and scoring those touchdowns. But Michael has been involved in the city for a number of years and has a real heart for seeing Akron really shine. And in particular, over these last few years, with going in the direction of bringing 100 Black Men, which is a national organization, and getting the club started here, has a passion for looking to help mentor up and coming young Black youth. And one of the places where we actually had the opportunity to interface was 2 months ago in Kenmore. We had a project where we were doing a cleanup with Tina Boys and the Community Development Corporation there in Kenmore. And so members of our club, there was one church that was represented there, and then 100 Black Men. And so we talked about doing it, and then we actually ended up doing it. And Michael and his team, I think there were like a total of 11 of them that came out, and really a great opportunity. But Michael, it's a pleasure to have you here with us. He's got some pretty exciting news to share about what's happening at the University of Akron and such, but why don't you come on up, my brother?
Okay, first of all, I'd just like to say that I'm happy to be here. I think I was telling the gentleman in the back the last time that I had lunch with the Rotarians was back in '02 in Barberton. And at the time, it was between being a Rotarian or Kiwanis. And I had just been hired in Barberton at the time to put together a youth program to address childhood obesity. So I didn't know a lot of people, but I had an opportunity to have lunch with both organizations. But to be honest with you, my boss was a Kiwanian, so you know why I was. I ended up being a Kiwanian. So once again, it's good to be here. Long day. Just left the meeting down at Akron Public Schools with the superintendent, some of the other leadership team, trying to address some of the issues that going on here in Akron with some of the violence in the schools and some other issues that the 100 don't take lightly, because one of the things that we do here in the surrounding area, the cornerstone of our organization is mentoring youth. And the other thing is we have 4 tiered things that we put a lot of emphasis to, and that's education, mentoring, health and wellness, and economic development. So, you know, and I know a little bit about the Rotarians. You know, it was when me and Steve got together back a while. Once again, I'll tell you, he's truly a friend of mine. We go all the way back. And we've always, you know, had different encounters in schools, and his support for me and the same in different sports and things like that. I told him, I think the last time we had coffee outside at someplace over here on Market Street, I said, you know, I forgot to tell you, man, but you know, you helped me through biology when I was in school. And that was truly there. So Steve plays a big part in my life, and I'm so proud of him. You know, the gentleman that he turned out to be. I will say this, Rotary Club vision and mission lines up with the 100 Black Men of Akron Incorporated, because I know you care about the community, one, and I know that your mission is to change community, change lives, and that's basically what the 100 Black Men are involved. Community effort was one reason why I shared with Steve when he asked us, hey, can you bring some of the guys out in Kenmore to help with a community project? It was like, yes, let's do this, because our young men, they love to do community work. And some of the guys came out, and some of our young people came out. And I'll tell you, Steve, they asked me, you know, this was about 2 months ago, when the next time we're going to be out doing some things in the community, because we always talk to our young people about giving back. We take pride in that. Just to give you some information about the 100 Black Men. We are a national organization. There is about 106 chapters all over the country. And it's where I just was talking to one of the board of directors last night, giving him an update on something that we started this year, and I'll be sharing that with you. But I thought the numbers were high, and I didn't know. And he said, well, you know, we had to kick out 3 chapters out of our organization. And, that could be for various reasons. That could be one, for not serving youth because it's a very serious organization. It could be two, not meeting compliance on whatever they have to be doing, because the 100 Black Men of Akron is an organization that don't take mentoring lightly in any phase of the game. We go back to basically, we brought the chapter here in '04. It's a very tough task because you have to put together so many different projects to prove to the national office that we're not just going to be an organization with a name, an organization that's going to give back to the community and make change. And so after we got the charter here in '04, we began working and doing a lot of different things. We have all sorts of men that are a part of our organization. Our organization is not an organization where you can just walk in and be a part of it. There's a process of being a part of our organization. We have a committee that has a screening process, and you have to go through the screening process also with a background check, because we basically focus on getting into Akron Public Schools and any other schools that wish to have us, to make sure that every I is dotted to serve kids. One thing, in all our mentoring, individuals that do the mentoring in the school go through a mentoring training. And one thing that we added to our mentoring training was mental health training. With all the things that are going on with our youth today, now when a guy, one of our members come into the organization, you're going to go through the mentoring training, and then you're also going to go through the health training to give us, and you'll get, and they receive a certificate for that, because with all the issues going on with our young people, we feel that we need to understand them a little more. Some of the things that we do here in Summit County is, once again, when I mentioned to you about mentoring youth is the forefront of our organization. That is very true. We mentor kids from 4th grade to high school. And we don't care what color they are. We have parents, grandparents, and mother will bring their kids to us on a Saturday. And sometimes they say, can you help my young man? And if the parent is willing to go through the interview process of bringing her son into our Leadership Academy, then we bring them on. Most parents have to also go through a parenting session with our organization on a quarterly basis to make sure that we are touching all the bases at home to make that young man a complete young man. And our Leadership Academy, right now, we have a lot of young men that are involved in our program from the west side of town, which is over in the Firestone High School area, with Firestone High School and with Litchfield. We meet on Saturday mornings on the other side of town, which is East Akron. Well, no, it's Joey Park Community Center, where we run workshops from 10 o'clock to 1 o'clock in the morning with young men. And then at the high school, we're there after school or whenever the scheduled time is for us to get in and put on a workshop for the young man there. And our Leadership Academy basically consists of teaching young men leadership skills. We also get into doing various things with them during the summertime. We do camping, we do fishing. We engage and collaborate with other organizations to serve our young people. I know for sure, I see Doug Cold here, which I admire deeply. I served on one of his advisory boards at the Goodyear Y when he was in charge. And we've done a lot with the YMCA. I remember one year they invited us out of Camp Wainoa. We took quite of our kids out there for a week, and the kids just enjoyed it. So collaborating and partnering with various organizations is something that we just love to do. And I always say when speaking to groups that we would love to collaborate, partner with, that let's be the change makers, and we can be that. So, you know, that's something that I share with you today. Also, what we do here in Akron, we are part of a program called, and this is a new initiative that just started just before the COVID. We're part of the Compass program. It's a program with the courts, Judge Hamilton's court. And what we do is basically they're men who have been incarcerated from the age of 18 to 26. And the Compass program is basically a second chance for these men. Judge Hamilton, instead of locking them up for 90 days, he will take those gentlemen, and the 100 Black men will take them through a mentoring program on a weekly basis and a screening program to see where their needs are. We have helped men get their driver's license back. We've also helped them with, if they want the opportunity to see their child or their daughter again, we have access through the courts that they would sit down with them and see if they can get shared custody if that's the case. We also help them get their GEDs and health insurance. So it's just a lot of things that the Compass program that provides through the courts that we're a part of. And once again, this program hasn't even been a year yet. Later today, I will be on a Zoom where they're getting ready to give us 6 more individuals from the court. And one thing about it, Judge Hamilton is really strict about this. You know, if they don't do what they're supposed to be doing, then, you know, you had an opportunity to be free. And now, since you don't want to do what you want to do, then I guess you just have to be locked up for a while for us to get your attention. But Judge Hamilton's doing a great job of reaching out and trying to change lives of individuals by giving them a second chance. We have an initiative with the mayor, Horgan's office. What we do is that we have a similar program, but it's called Midnight Basketball, where these individuals will come to. Last year was, well, not last year, but previous years, it was launched at Mason School, where these gentlemen would come in, and they are men that have been, been incarcerated. They're out, and we're trying to help them get back on their feet. And one of the things that they had to do is that they'll come in, they'll sign in. There's a 45 minute program about various issues to help them. And then they are put on a basketball team, and then they play basketball, and it's a league, and it's competitive, and they really have fun with that. And that's something through our mayor's office that he's asked us to partner with, and we enjoy doing that. We just recently, and we're very proud of this, got endorsed by the University of Akron. We have a program on campus, and we call this our Collegiate 100. And basically what the Collegiate 100 basically are doing, they are doing projects on campus. They're working with other organizations on the resources that they have to provide for them. And also they are doing and will be doing community projects under the 100 Black Men's umbrella. And the most important part of it that we're real happy with, and there's 17 young men, most of them are engineers, are there to be an engineer. They are going to be a part of our leadership academy within Akron Public Schools in whatever we do in mentoring. They're going to be doing things like taking a junior at a high school and spend a day, allow them to spend a day with them on campus. They'll go to class with them. They'll give them insights on why they picked the major that they selected. They will also work with the younger high school kids, helping them get ready for college, the ACT testing, and all the things they need to know about attending college. And we're very, very very pleased with starting that organization. We're going to be having a big ceremony for them at the end of January, where we will be giving them the oath of the 100 Black men, and also giving them their pin with a lot of people involved in the community. We celebrate National Mentoring Month every year, and coming up here on January the 8th, we will be collaborating with 11 other mentoring programs throughout Summit County. Big brothers and big sisters are involved in this. We will be having a convention-like event at the main library downtown. It'll be the convention January 8th. It'll be going on from 12 o'clock noon to 3 o'clock. And we will have vendors there, tables set up. And we're looking for people who would like to be involved in being a vendor for this event. And we're going to provide our youth and their families with resources from the vendors. A good example would be Sumer. We've had Suma show up and talk about vaping and all other different drugs, along with ADM board talking about youth alcohol. We'll have the police department there to talk about gun violence and things like that. Just a resource for information for our youth, and also for their parents. We have a guest speaker. We'll have, water and Subway there for them. But we're really looking forward to that here, starting off the new year. We also have a partnership with Love Akron. We do a broadcast once a month, and we will be starting up the new broadcast for the new year in January. The executive director over there, Kip Boyd, we started this a year ago, and it's every month with Love Akron, we get on and we talk about community problems and engage the community in all sorts of ideas, and allow them to give feedback to the community on the different ways that the community can come together with policing. We've also had a real good meeting with our new police chief. We're getting involved in a few initiatives that he's going to be having. So we're excited for the new year. We are really excited. And I am really hoping that some way down the line, that if you ever need the service of the 100 Black Men of Akron, hey, reach out to us. We'll be there. And, we're hoping that some way that the 100 Black Men in the Rotary Club can be able to do something together to once again make change lives, and make our community a better community. And I always say it, let's be the change. If we don't do it, who's going to do it? And so if you have any questions at that, then I'll be free to answer.
Thank you, Thane. So, Mr. Irby, just want to say thank you for coming in and speaking to us, and also thanks for everything you do here in town. I think all of us see the phenomenal work you're doing. Some of us had the chance to work with 100 Black Men earlier this year in Kenmore. So God bless you and thanks for everything you're doing. I do have a question for you, and it's more so maybe some advice, and I don't think you're going to have the answer, but it's something that our club's leadership has thought about. It's something that a lot of service organizations think about, and that is these diversity and inclusion initiatives. And Akron Rotary has done one. I think every board I'm on has done a diversity and inclusion initiative. So many of them fail or they don't work. And if you look at us right now, if you look at our group, Akron Rotary is meant to serve the community of Akron. If you look at the folks in this room, we are not diverse. We do not match our community that we serve. So how do you think our club and our leadership could be more effective engaging men of color, women of color, and welcoming them into our club?
You know, me and Steve, we have talked about this on various times with breakfast and things like this. And I honestly feel, when I look at the community, my advice would be the engagement. You have to get involved with minority organizations or minority activities. And I think that would help. You know, it's just like with, you know, I get the question asked, you call yourself the 100 Black men. And sometimes I get the question, can white men join our organization? And the thing that I say to them, and my leadership staff feels the same way, because we have discussed this over and over and trying to, you know, get the right wording for it. Because I'm going to be honest with you. We welcome white men to our organization. We do. Now, would you go out and say, I'm a 100 Black man? No. But there's titles in our bylaws where different titles to bring different people into our organization. And I'm gonna be honest with you. And as a president of this organization, I've shared this with our leadership team. White men can bring the same impact to young Black youth as a Black man can. Because some of them understand the nature of them. Some of them, the ones that, you know, that really care. And so, you know, I just say the engagement, getting the Rotary involved in, you know, some activities that are going on in Akron, so you can be seen working with, you know, other people. I really believe that. Because I'm gonna tell you, when I left the Board of Education, and the guy's a principal at, I think, Bookstore, and I told him, I said, guys, I have to go. I said, you know, I promised a friend of mine that the president of the Rotaries that I'd come over and speak about the 100. And he said, you going to the Rotaries? And I said, yeah. He said, oh man, that's great. And so I'm saying to myself, the enthusiasm he had for the name. I mean, you guys are international. There's a lot of respect for the name, and I know that. And so it's a privilege for us to be engaged in some of the things that you are doing, along with you being engaged with some of the things that we are doing. I totally believe that.
Wonderful, thank you. Doug?
Hey, Mike, glad you're here today. It's been a long relationship.
Yes.
Thing hit you with a really tough question. First, mine's going to be a little bit easier. What is there anything magical to the 100 name? Do you have more than 100 people involved in your organization, or is it an aspiration, a goal, or where does the name 100 Black Men stand today regarding membership?
Okay, and that's a good question. You know, I can go back and tell you how they started, how the name 100 Black Men came. I will share that story with you. But I know what our organization is this. Right now, we have 33 Black men in our organization. And at our December 11th, that's going to be our last meeting of 21. And we're going to be bringing over 4 new members. And that'll take our numbers up. But the goal is to get 100 Black men. And that's the goal all over the country. There are some organizations, they literally have 100 Black men organization. You know, sometimes, and it's something I'm trying to move around, and it's just like it happened about 3 or 4 weeks ago. We get guys that say, I'd like to join the 100 Black men. And they'd be very enthused about it. And then when they get our application, because it's a 4-page, 5-page application that they have to fill out. And when they see that, and then also when we allow them to come to our meeting, they think they don't fit in. And that's not the case. You know, and sometimes I have to reach out, and if I get a little inkling feeling that I see he's worried when I show him the application, or I begin to say, hey, do you know this person? Do you know that person? Do you know this person? And it's like, these guys are in this organization, and it's like, you know, I don't think I'm going to fit in. And so that sometimes deters our numbers. One thing we're going to do, one of the goals that I have for our organization moving into the new year is recruitment. But the number one recruitment would be youth. I told our guys, when you're talking to people, we want to get guys a lot younger, 20 to late 20s, 30s. We need young people in our organization to keep it going. I'm not going, you know, I would probably say another year for me as president. And I'm looking forward to some of my leadership team to step up and you know, and take the new face of the organization. You know, I have, you know, our leadership team, we have, you know, James Sneed, that's, he's our vice president of finance, and I'll just throw some names up. Tony Grimes is our vice president of operations. We have Tom Peoples from Goodyear. He's vice president of our administration. So, you know, right now our leadership team is so well put together than it was in the past, that I'm looking forward to stepping down and just be a part of the meetings and pushing things forward. But I tell people they need a new face. They need a new face. They need a young face. And so that's some of the new things that we're going to kick up a lot. But the 100 Black men, let me share with you how this got started real quickly. In 1963, there were 3 men, and it was in New Jersey, and they were having a lot of youth violence going on. So Jackie Robinson was one of those individuals. He got 2 of his friends, and he said, we have to give back to our youth. So they started going in the community and mentoring youth and and picking up people like Dr. Haley and some other individuals. And they started making an impact with youth in New Jersey at the time. And so they kept it going. And then it was just a bunch of names that didn't even have a name on it. And so with the type of people they are, they started reaching out to other states, to people that they knew, to try to organize a mentoring programs for youth. So they had 3 organizations. It was in New Jersey, and it was in Washington, D.C., and I can't think the others. But every year they would go down to Washington, D.C. for the Black Caucus event. And when they were down there one year, they were just discussing how they could change the format of the 100 Black men to make it bigger and better. And so they scheduled a meeting for all the other organizations, all the other guys, to go back to their community and try to get as many men involved. So the next meeting they came back, which was in DC, they were just trying to figure out what name they was going to put on this mentoring organization. Guess what? There were 100 Black men at that meeting. And that's how they named themselves 100 Black Men of America Incorporated. And then from there, it just took off. And like I said, there's 106 chapters all over the country, London and all quite a few other places. But the one, I wish we could get 100. I really do. And I'm gonna be honest with you too. I wish we could get some white men involved in our organization. One, the passion has to be there. Two, willing to work under our mission in the 100 Black men, and just have the same passion and the vision that we do. Because I just think it's time for change. And I'm a believer that things that are going on in the community, white and Black, I think we all need to come together. If we're gonna change our community, and I'm saying that here in Akron, and I've shared that with Mayor Horgan, we have to work together and people have to see it. They have to come to the event and see that here's a bunch of white men, here's a bunch of Black men, they're all on the same page. And they care for the same thing. And I believe we can make a change.
Any other questions? Linda Parker.
Thank you for what you're doing, and as an employee of Akron Public Schools, I can identify with what you're doing here in Akron, but also I say to you, as a former elementary principal of a large school in Cleveland for many years, my school got the most support from the grandmothers and the grandfathers. They were the ones that we could count on. They were the ones that we would call and ask for help. So I sincerely hope that in your endeavors that you look to the elders, the grandparents, and the aunts and uncles, and also to the women. Don't forget us, because we play an important role, even though our numbers are small here today. We many times keep the family together, and we applaud you for your efforts, so thank you.
When you talk about women, I can go on and on about women, how strong, how intelligent, how powerful. You put it in women's hands and it gets done. And I know that from experience. And we have women in the community that love what we do. And I always say, hey, be a part of this initiative. And, just like right now, the national mentoring event is going on. We have 3 women and they're doing all the work. And I was sharing with someone, hey man, I know it's going to be right. So I'm not even worried about that. But you are totally true. And I'm going to share a story with you. It's a bothering story to me when you mentioned about grandmothers. And I think it might have been 3 years ago, we had a grandmother that walked into our Saturday workshop. She couldn't move that well. And she came up to me. She wanted to know who was in charge here at this mentoring program. And a couple of mentors were there, says, I'll go get him. And I came up, man, yes, ma'am, can I help you? And she said to me, please save my grandson. And she could not really walk too well. And he's standing there. And I just got my whole body. I just got the chills because I understand her. And I'm looking at him and he's looking, excuse me, dumbfounded because he's not listening to her. And I could see it in his eyes. She's sincere, and he's just standing there looking like, you know, all the bad things I've been doing don't mean anything. Didn't say it, but me personally, I could read a young man's body language through all these years on what's going on pretty much in his thinking. But we get that sometimes, and we do reach out to him. And those are the ones we put more in time, you know, and I could tell you some stories over and over where, you know, it's back and forth, and grandmother say, I'm tired of it, I can't do it. Mom is over here, dad's over here, she's caring for him. And, you know, and it's real tough sometimes when you have a young man that just continue not to do right. And grandma don't want to give up. It is very tough. And we do have a case like that right now. But like I say to our organization, when it comes to mentoring, we cannot give up on them. We have to continue the mentoring. And every once in a while, we'll get one that we say that, you know, we've done everything. We're going to have to take this young man out of what we're doing because we don't want one to screw up 15 that are doing right. And that's usually the only case for removal from our leadership academy.
What year did the Akron chapter begin?
Well, we started in 02, and we started in 02, and we went all the way to 10, and we had a change in leadership, and then we had to regroup and put everything back together, and then we got the charter back in 18.
Thank you, my brother. What you just say for a second too. I'm gonna do the closing remarks here, and then we're gonna have our drawing after the closing remarks so we can honor everyone who has joined us out there in Zoom land, as it were. And I do have a question for everyone, both places, online and here. How many of us at some point in our lives have been the recipient of being mentored? Can I see your hands? How about out there online, all of those who've been received some measure of being mentored? Okay, and it's most of us. And I would venture to say that in probably the majority, if not all of the cases, we are much better off for it. And I really appreciate my brother here. I appreciate his heart, and I think you were getting it, you were feeling it, you were sensing it. And I can't agree with him any more than what we're talking about is a now moment in our city. Akron has very special DNA. And I really believe it has a lot to do with brotherhood and sisterhood, and that we are one another's keeper. And what I mean by that is the responsibility of mutual respect and love. And when we work in that manner, there really is nothing we cannot overcome. And so as we move forward, and as we move into 2022, you're going to be hearing more about our opportunities to work and serve with 100 Black men. And as he mentioned with the youth that came out that day in Kenmore, had you been there, you would have loved these young people that were there. They were so excited about serving. They were all smiles, and they actually liked a few of those donuts, didn't they? But we had a fabulous time, and we can get together and we can do some more events together. And so for those of you who've been here today, those of you who've been online, if this is something that tugs on your heartstrings, then why not? Why not consider having, if it pulls your heart, a half a dozen Rotarians join up with 100 Black men and be able to impact lives and move our city and our communities forward. And the bottom line is, the way we're all wired quite similarly. And when we receive love and respect and care, each one of us, we blossom. So if we can participate in that, we can, as you said, be the change, my brother. So thank you, and thank you everyone for joining us. And we're going to have our raffle after I end this. And so God bless you and have a great week.